Good afternoon all. I'm Dr. Santoshi Nagaonkar, Director of Urology, Uro-Oncology and Robotic Surgery at Sir H.N. Reliance Foundation Hospital. Today we have one of the eminent urologists in the world, I should say, who's been in the USA for the last several years, Dr. Inderbir Singh Gill. So Dr. Gill is the chairman of University of South California and is the director of urology at Keck School of Medicine, and he's been affiliated with Sir H.N. Reliance Foundation Hospital through University of South California since the inception of this hospital. We need no more introduction of Dr. Gill because he's a well-known figure in medical fraternity, and he's been involved in several researches, several publications, innovations. So he's just not a surgeon, but he's a versatile person. So we are going to have a quick chat about various things which are happening in urology, in robotic surgery, and of course anything happening on the horizon in research part. So I welcome Dr. Gill. It's a warm welcome. Welcome to India. It's always a pleasure to have you over here. So I'm just going to ask Dr. Gill if you can just enlighten us his journey in the last few years, how he has evolved himself as one of the best robotic surgeons in the world.
Thank you. Let me just start by saying to you, Dr. Nagaonkar, that it's a pleasure and a privilege every time we meet, and our friendship, our respect is something I cherish deeply. It's a real source of joy and pleasure for me. Also, collaborations with Sir H.N. Hospital and Mr. Mukesh Ambani, Ms. Neeta Ambani over the past decade have also been very inspiring. And so for me, it always feels like coming back home whenever I come to the H.N. Hospital and we work together. I'm at the University of Southern California. And in the past few years is what your question was. So I think I will divide it into three things. Number one is robotic surgery. And in that regard, I feel that our team has really become now very, very comfortable in some of the most advanced surgeries that until now required big open cut. And we are talking large kidney tumors, we are talking inferior vena cava thrombi, we are talking retroperitoneal lymph node dissection for testis cancer, we are talking for prostate cancer, locally advanced cancer, oligometastatic cancer, where the cancer is somewhat spread outside the prostate. Still, we can do it. We're talking about folks with bladder cancer, where we remove the bladder, make a new bladder out of intestine and plug it back in, etc., etc. So at this point, I would say a good 95% of major urologic cancer surgery we can confidently now do robotically with excellent outcomes. So that is step one, which we feel is now really come together very, very nicely. The second thing we've been working on is now making it even less invasive. So we went from open surgery to laparoscopic robotic surgery, and now we want to make it even less invasive by doing image-targeted focal therapy. So in that regard, imagine taking a CAT scan or an MRI and figuring out where the cancer is, and then being able to just get it in the crosshairs of your technology and hit the button and non-invasively or mini-invasively kill the cancer in a reliable way, thereby taking care of the problem but not hurting the patient and making it even more palatable and less intrusive on the patient. So that's number two thing. And number three, most recently, Dr. Nagaonkar, we've been trying to learn more about artificial intelligence. So that's something that is now one of the most exciting things just in the world in general. In the world in general, AI is growing dramatically. every month, it is more than it was last month. There's nothing else in our lives, nothing, that is advancing literally month by month. It is actually startling. It makes me nervous. It really does. And I think that these are very, very early days for it. And AI is going to have a major impact in our lives in general, but also in medicine. And so therefore I think it behooves us to get into it, to learn, to understand. And at the University of Southern California, about 2 years ago, we put together what we believe is the first AI center within a department of urology in the country. We endowed it with about a $500,000 philanthropic endowment. And now, the past 2 years, we have generated about $6.5 million in NIH funding, which is the most difficult to get. Again, in the field of AI, and we're just getting a nice gathering momentum in that regard. And I'm delighted to say that even with you at HM Hospital, we are joining hands to get some AI project going. So, sorry for such a long answer, but
perfect. So that's actually intrigues me, because my next question was going to be based on the part of the answer which you have given me. When I visited the University of South California way back in 2016, I remember visiting your lab, and you had a big research lab. You had a study which was going on about how to get the tactile feedback for the robotics. And whatever I see, that it's the first thing in the UAC. So we do first, be it single port surgery, be it tactile feedback research. So being a great leader, how do you manage to do that? Like everything first in the UAC.
Well, you're being very kind. So you're a friend, dear friend, so you're being very kind, and I really appreciate it. I think it basically comes down to passion. I mean, it just basically comes down to what is it that inspires you? What is it that fires you up? What is it that gets you out of bed? And for us, my general philosophy is I always want to have a simmering state of discontentment. Okay, where I never want to be just like fully satisfied, because if you are, then you start getting fat, and that's not a good thing. But just a simmering state of discontentment where always we can make this better, is something that is always driving us. The larger field, you're giving me credit, but I'm telling you, it is the team. It's always the team, and they drive me. And if I'm running, it is to keep from them running me over. Okay. So it's for robotics. My final comment would be that at least in the surgical arena, we started with open surgery. I was open surgeon, and then we started doing laparoscopy, and we built laparoscopy to the max it can go. Honestly, feel confident about saying that, and then jumped onto robotics, and that's taken this to a whole different level. And now I really feel, my initial comment, I really feel that for major cancers, we bring a substantial presence. We're not putzing around. I mean, we will take on, if it were an Olympic sport, we would take care of the open surgery guys hands on. So I'm sure I'm going to get critiqued for saying that. But I really believe it. But now I feel, Santoshi, that having helped build robotics to this level, we want to be the guys who kill it. So I am now on a mission to kill robotic surgery. Of course, I'm exaggerating for dramatic effect. I don't really mean that literally, but I do mean that, for example, for prostate cancer, we shouldn't have to keep taking people's prostates out.
Absolutely.
We have to be able to target it and kill the cancer and not nuke the entire neighborhood. So it's just that thing about always trying to improve.
Correct. So that's what I always call Dr. Gill. Whenever I see him, it's a tickling mind, and he likes to push his boundaries. Every time he comes to India, he's got something new. Now, I'm just going to ask you because we are organizing one international symposium in urology and robotic surgery, which is happening over this weekend. And Dr. Gill is over here. He's graced the kind of our conference for being here. He's going to deliver some lectures as well, which we'll talk about it at the end. And I have kept it as a bonus question to him. But I just want to find out what drives him back to India and do these workshops with us. Of course, he's got some obligation to teach Indian surgeons, demonstrate his technique. But what is his feeling about demonstrating these surgeries, and what are we going to do over this weekend? He can just tell us in the next 2 days.
Sure. So why do I keep coming back to India? And the answer is why not? I mean, this is my home. This is my beating heart. And Indian surgeons are the best in the world, period. With not as many facilities, although the facilities too are now second to none. But the skill and talent and intellect of the Indian surgeons is absolutely second to none. And so I come here as much to learn as to show whatever little we do and learn together. Over the next 2 days, you've organized this lovely International Robotic Surgery Symposium, and we will have experts from around the country coming, and many attendees as well. Dr. Nagaonkar has planned a live demonstration of robotic kidney transplant, laparoscopic donor nephrectomy, robotic partial nephrectomy, etc. And also he's organized the MRI and focal therapy symposium hands-on for the attendees. So it is stuff like this where we sit and talk and interact and exchange ideas and go back even more fired up. If out of this meeting I can get one idea that'll keep me, up and excited.
Excellent. So that's great, and I'm sure for the next 2 years, two days, it's going to be a academic feast for all of us, and we would love to watch Dr. Gill operate something which probably has never been displayed in a medical conference. So we are doing something live. Dr. Gill is going to demonstrate a robotic live kidney transplant, and that will be something to look forward to. My last question is going to be, again, as I said, if I have to pull out the dictionary and see what is the synonym for Inderbir, probably it is going to be a tickling mind. He is into something which nobody has ventured before, and it's about bladder transplantation. Let's hear it out from him only.
Oh my God. So this started just literally as a conversation like we are having today. Literally like this. And, we said bladder transplantation has never been done. It's never been done even till now in the human. And so we started working on it a couple of years ago, and first the concept of it, then did an animal study, live animal study, and then we have now done 5 heart-beating, brain-dead research human donors who are the candidates typically who donate organs for various transplantations. These are research because these donors have some serology issues such as HIV, hepatitis, etc., and therefore are not candidates for clinical transplantation. So then now we have developed this technique in this population, wherein the goal being to remove the bladder, urinary bladder, with its blood supply intact, and then transplant it into another patient whose bladder is terminally diseased and non-usable. So this is something that's taken us 2 years to get all the approvals in place, to develop the technique, and to get to this point where we feel ready. We are now actively looking for our first recipient, and hopefully in the next few months be able to do this first in human bladder transplant.
Fantastic. So I think I would conclude this kind of a chat session with Dr. Gill by saying that all the best for his next venture, and we always welcome him with a warm heart to India. He's anytime welcome, and we'll also see him shortly, probably in the next few months over for something new. And yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Gill, for your time.
Thank you.
And all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.